Should I just like tell the whole story, like walk you through the whole
I
thing?
think you need to because I still need to process as you say. I cannot. Deshane, we're gonna be able to like go to the park together. Alrighty.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of New to the City. Joey, what are we drinking today?
Today we have Dark and Stars.
That is my favorite drink of all time. It's my favorite cocktail, and I have made it for you today.
I feel quite honored.
Thank you.
I feel quite honored.
Ginger beer is, I feel like it's like a symbolic mix for me because of, I feel like ginger ale is a very Canadian thing. Canada Dry is like the brand.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
So ginger beer for me is like the dual citizen of drinks.
That's really cute. I never thought of it like that. I love ginger beer because it's both dark and stormy and Moscow Mules.
Yeah.
Which are two of my favorites. So,
cheers.
Clink. Yeah. So, tell me a life update. I don't know. Start with something.
Oh my God. Do I even have a life update? Well, 3 weeks from today, at this time, I will either be asleep in a bed somewhere or curled up under a hovel crying.
In a cardboard box.
Because 3 weeks from today is the 29th and I'll be in London.
Does that make your heart skip a little bit?
It makes my hands literally sweat. Oh my God, I have to tell you. So I keep having these moments where I'll be driving and I'll be like, the music will be on and I'll look and it's like beautiful winter scenery and I'll think to myself like, take stock of this moment because there aren't that many of them left and like this isn't going to be your reality for much longer.
That is so bittersweet, isn't it?
It really is. But the other morning, one of my dogs came to have a snuggle with me and I was talking to him, as you do, to like your animals.
Of course.
And I was like, listen, you really need to like come up and snuggle me every morning because like in 3 weeks I'll be gone and
I won't be here.
And then I won't be here anymore. And I started crying to my dog.
Did you actually like start physically crying?
I was crying. I was like, and then I was like really embarrassed. I was like, I'm sorry, you didn't come up here for this. Like,
that is so funny. Yeah, it's really bittersweet, isn't it?
It's very bittersweet, yeah.
It's so exciting, but then I think caught up in the excitement of the moment, you almost like lose the sadness that comes along with it a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sadness is like one of the last things that I feel, but there's definitely like a little bit of nostalgia and like, oh.
I feel very nostalgic, and maybe it's because it's like the holidays and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I haven't actually cried until I was talking to my dog, and I was like, I'm sorry,
but that's the only person, whatever, you should be crying to, if anything.
True.
So I have a ring around my glass, and I am convinced that I am going to be a wife again.
Yeah, I really am regretting giving you that glass. It's really just to know which one's which. God, everybody stop trying to lock me down.
Gosh, I know I'm like just so desirable, and I know that you just want to like make sure you got me, but
Jacob has already told me in no uncertain terms that you moving there is about him and not about me.
Yeah, well, it is. But
no, I know, but like, why throw it in my face like that?
I guess I can call you my side hoe. No.
Side no.
So I've come to a conclusion.
Oh.
Of sorts.
Okay.
I have decided that I'm going to go to fashion school.
Okay, Lauren Conrad.
Yeah, I have decided that I am going to dedicate myself to making sure that I study and that I've started to look into it, and there's more that I need to research before I fully talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have decided that I get so much out of sewing, and that my huge like step in my happiness is going to be to go back to study and dedicate myself to sewing. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked for you. So like what's the major called? Like what would you get your degree
So
in?
it would be, what I want to do is, I think, it's not something that I've decided yet, and it's obviously something that's, I think, going to come with research and more time. But I definitely want to do women's wear. So it'll be like a fashion degree with a focus in women's wear. Yeah.
So where's like
So
I know you like it's early to talk about, but dream schools like 'cause I know there's a ton in the area.
So University of the Arts in London.
Oh my God. I went to the University of the Arts in Philly.
In Philly.
My whole brain just kind of like went weird.
So it's called UAL.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe, and I know that if people have studied there or if people are listening, they go, oh my God, no. But I think it's like the College of St. Martin's is like their fashion part of the school,
Okay.
I think. Once again, don't quote me on any of this. I've just started to because I think I've kind of committed myself to the idea now. And I am so that kind of person. I am a Libra through and through. Like, I am so indecisive and I constantly am flipping back and forth. But I really feel like this is such a strong direction. It's really something that ever since I've kind of decided on, it's been such a strong feeling for me.
I feel like with things that are meant to be, that's kind of just how it is, right? Like once you make the decision, things kind of fall into place to make it be so. And it's just you making the decision for the universe to be like, okay, good, yeah, we're on the same page. We wanted to do all this shit, but you needed to make the conscious choice to make it happen.
It was something that I think that I remember like being 11 years old and watching Project Runway and sitting down with a sketch pad and drawing my own designs. Like, and I think I never had the actual like physical thing in front of me, like a sewing machine or something in front of me to be able to make these garments that I always thought of. And now that like I have the sewing machine in front of me and I'm now making things, the level of absolute enjoyment and my soul being fulfilled is so intense and and it just feels like that was something that I always thought it would just be a dream of mine, and that I never have committed myself to. And I really think that something about going to London and new starts and having the support of my husband, who absolutely will support me no matter what. There's so many things that are leading me in this direction, and I feel like it's just it's right, you know?
Yes. That's so exciting as well, because like as artists and as two people who have performed for such a long time, it's easy to think that performing is what brings you joy, and so that's the only thing that can bring you joy, and that's the only thing that's going to make you feel fulfilled as a person. And it's a very easy way to pigeonhole yourself and to think that, wow, now that part of my life is on pause, now I can't feel fulfilled. And it's so amazing to explore other parts of your person that can make you feel the same way. And it's not to take away from you as a dancer, it's to add to it.
Exactly. And I think a part of me, just because, like growing up dancing and the intensity of what it is, it's like, this is my life and this is what it has to be. And dance is everything, and dance and performing. And I think that you so easily get caught up in the fact of, oh my gosh, I'm a dancer and I'm only a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
And now having the opportunity, I don't know, maybe coronavirus and taking a step back from me being a dancer and not having it has made me realize, like, what else? And I don't want to say, like, that you have to find something else. I don't want to be that person to be like, well, I was a dancer and
retrain.
Right, retrain.
Be a Fatima.
But it's really made me think about, like, what else? What else is there? And it's something that I'm so passionate about, and something that, like, I feel so incredibly focused and determined to do. And, like, I have no idea what I want to do with it, but that will only come with time. You know, I have no idea what my end goal is, but that's such a fabulous place to be.
Mm-hmm.
For me to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. Here's a direction that I know I'm going. I'm on the street. I just don't know what is at the end of the street, you know?
I think that's the easiest path to being fulfilled. It's not like, oh, I have this one job that I really want to do, and if I don't do that, then I'm a failure. It's letting yourself be guided in the direction of your passions and letting yourself and the universe decide for you what your path should be. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, it's It's something that is has a feeling of, I remember sitting down with my mom after going to a year of college and hating it and thinking I had to stay there, and me sitting her down being like, I just want to be a dancer. And that feeling is there again, that deep seated pull to knowing that you want to do something. One of the most fulfilling experiences I know as a dancer that I had, of sitting down and telling my mother, I'm going to be a dancer, and it happening.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing,
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
On a way lesser scale, a little bit more petty, I would like to climb up on my soapbox and publicly declare, because, okay, I'm just going to say it. Soy is the devil. And I feel like Daryl Philbin from The Office being like, why is soy in everything? But it's the devil. And Caitlin texted me earlier today, and she was like,
you know how she feels about soy.
Well, she loves soy. And when I started going to the esthetician, Cindy was like, PSA, soy is the devil. Don't do it. It's in everything. Be aware. And so then I obviously immediately got on our group chat, and I was like, PSA, soy is the devil. It's in everything. Stop doing it. And so Caitlin texted me today, and she was like, so I thank you for the soy hot take, because she looked at a picture of her skin right now compared to a couple months ago, and she's been actively trying to lessen her soy intake, and she sees a drastic difference. I've seen a drastic difference. Soy is the fucking devil.
I have such an issue with that. I wish soy was the best thing to ever happen, because I love sushi, so I eat a fuck ton of soy sauce. I am a vegetarian, so I eat tofu constantly.
It's a silent killer.
It is. And I'm like, what else? Mushrooms. That's all I have left is mushrooms. And soon enough, I know some fucking, I don't know, CDC bullshit is going to come out and say mushrooms are the devil. And I'm going to be like, so I'm just going to drink water the rest of my life.
Yeah. And you'll be snatched. And you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Listen, if mushrooms ever become the devil, I'll be the first to tell you.
God, I hope that never happens.
Yeah. I really don't honestly, I really don't feel like it's talked about enough. Nobody talks about soy and whey protein. There's vegan protein options, there's pea protein. It's better for you. And if you have skin problems and you don't know what's going on and you've tried a bunch of shit and you don't know how to fix it, literally stop eating soy for 6 to 8 weeks, and then I will accept the DM when you tell me how it's changed your life. You're welcome. I'm done.
But soy isn't everything.
Yeah, you have to sit. It's so annoying.
You have to actively sit down and
you go
look
to the
at your
grocery
ingredients.
store and you read, and it's might contain soy, and you're like, well, guess fucking not. But here's the thing. This is what Cindy told me. She was like, once you know what triggers your skin, you can make the decision and be okay with the consequences. The other day, Janine and I went to Sampan, had an amazing lunch. It was Chinese food, and I was like, you know what? For the next couple of days, my skin's going to fucking hate me. And it did.
And it did.
But I was like, worth it though.
That's a next level of awareness.
Yeah, that's the great thing.
That's hot.
Date a guy with too many tattoos, you're going to get your heart broken. You cost benefit analysis.
What's that supposed to mean? Excuse me. I don't have a lot of tattoos though.
You kind of do. I would get my heart broken by you 100%.
Oh, I think that's one of the sweetest things you've ever said to me.
Yeah, well, I'm vulnerable.
Oh my God. I see my skin has been acting so much. I went to London, which can I tell you, I am terrified to go back to London.
I've been thinking about
for
this.
that only reason.
Yeah, because your skin looks so good right now.
The texture on my forehead when I was in London was horrific. I tried everything. I used my skincare that I've been using consistently. Right now, my skin is probably the best that it's been in years. And going back to London, and I think with the different water and the different environment and everything in London fucked my skin. And
Water is such a factor that nobody thinks about. It's so true. I really think this will fuck you up. But honestly, your skin does look so much better.
Thank you. I'm very proud of where my skin is at right now.
So I have been searching desperately for roommates.
Yes.
Because when I land in 3 weeks, I would like to have somewhere to go.
That would be...
Like, ideally.
That'd be ideal.
Like, I know that's groundbreaking, but I would really like that. And so, I mean, we can get into this, like, the details and all that stuff. But I think as of today, I've found a place.
Gosh, I knew you were hiding something from me because I knew you had some news, and I didn't know that was going to be it.
But I am sorry because I know that we talked about Battersea and Clapham and how it was going to be close to you, and it didn't end up working out like that. It's just how it worked out. Okay, I'm just gonna like show you because I'm just gonna pull it up on maps.
There is no reason for you to be sorry. If you found some place to be and we're both in the UK, that is close enough. I don't care.
Well, I know that we just like had our hearts setting on like both set on.
Oh gosh, no.
That close, you know, just so you can like kind of wrap your head around like how close we're gonna be. So, 14 minutes on a bus. 35-minute walk. But like basically across the bridge from where you are. Like literally across the bridge, directly across.
If you're not watching on our YouTube video, I am sitting here stunned, once again, speechless, because Deshane Graham, who the fuck do you think you are to spring this upon me and think that I am going to have an okay reaction?
I love being a troll towards you.
You fully are. I really need to take a moment because...
Okay, the best part is I did not go looking for this place. This place literally, and like I'll tell you the whole story, this place literally delivered itself to me on a platter. Like when I tell you the universe delivered this place to me and then I looked it up on the maps and saw where it was, I was immediately like, yes, I don't care. I don't care. Yes.
I'm surprised you've kept a straight face through all of this because I just need to take a very moment because we're going to be so close. There's a Spoons that's like right in Putney and it's like 2-pound drinks. Do you know how often we're going to get shit-faced there? Deshane.
It's just like...
I could cry.
I know.
I've
been so excited. I literally found out today because yesterday I texted the girl who I'm going to be subletting from and I was like, yes, 100%. Tell me what I need to do. Let me know if they liked me because I loved them and like, yes. And today she texted me and she was like, they loved you too.
So wait, this is like for real? This is like when you fly into Heathrow, you're taking the tube to Putney Green and... Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the address is, so I don't know exactly.
Close enough.
But like,
we're close enough here.
It's Putney. It's Putney.
I cannot believe that we are around the corner from each other.
How wild is that?
I'm so okay. With all the shock aside, I am so happy for you, that you have found a place that you are confident enough in to be flying to. That's so admirable of you just to like take that big step and say, I am going to live here. And of course you have to live somewhere, but still that's a decision that you have to make. That is an active decision that you have to make. So should I just like tell the whole story, like walk you through the whole thing? I think you need to because I still need to process, as you say. I cannot. Deshane, we're going to be able to like go to the park together. Jacob, you and I will be able to go sit down, have a drink in the Spoons. We'll be able to like go walk to each other. We'll be able,
like, we can record our podcast literally whenever we want.
The fact that like it's gonna be so easily accessible for us to be able to see each other is
okay. So
tell me everything.
Okay,
tell me.
What a great segue into how to fucking find roommates, because I happen to have found 3 of them.
Yeah, so that's what I'm interested in is like what's the building flat-ish like?
Let me just tell you about my whole journey, because I have been stressed ball change about this whole thing. I had to stop looking for a job because I didn't have enough emotional bandwidth to stress about not having a job and not having a place to live. And I was like, well, worst comes to worst, like I can be unemployed for a certain amount of time once I get there. Can't be without a bed for a certain amount of time. Like need one.
I'd say that's probably not good.
I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on finding a place because the bitch is 3 weeks away and
she's creeping up on you.
And like, it's a necessity at this point. So spare room for me has been kind of a godsend. I know we've talked, if we don't touch on certain things, I know that we've talked about warehouse living, kind of spare room kind of things in episode 2, moving as an introvert.
Yeah.
So if we didn't touch on something, try and go back and listen to episode 2 and see if we touched on it there. But I've been scavenging spare room, showing interest in a lot of places, cold messaging a lot of people like I'm in an MLM. It's amazing. And just kind of saying, hey, I'm relocating on the 29th. This is my budget. This is what I'm about. Like list 5 things I like. And let me know if you think I would be a good fit.
Just to get a vibe of what you are. And yeah.
So mostly I was looking for a double room or like a double bed that was furnished and in the general vicinity of Clapham Junction. That was what I was kind of looking for. And like bills included in the rent. So I had this whole week a couple Zoom calls, which let me tell you something, with the time difference, not that fun. I've been waking up at like 5 or 6 in the morning and just sitting there with my coffee trying to be a human being.
As spunky as you can be at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And it's so interesting to me because so many of the very first interactions that you have is with the person who you won't be living with. So like I'll get on really well with someone that I'm going to be living in their room,
be interacting.
But I'll never meet them. I'll never see them. And that to me it makes sense because like, why would they want to bother all of their roommates with a million Zoom calls without like kind of, what's the word? Like
filtering.
Yeah, exactly. But also like, how is that beneficial for me? I guess if I get along with that person, there's a better chance that I'll get along with the whole house.
Well, obviously they're going to also kind of pass on who's viewing the room.
Right.
And
their
continue.
favorites and stuff
We'll
like
continue because I have some points, but I want to let you speak.
Okay, yeah. And also, yeah, you probably have way better insight than I do because I'm brand new to this. When I was going to my very first Zoom call, it was like this girl from Spain. It was 6 in the morning. I was so nervous. Didn't get ready. Wasn't that nervous apparently, but like I was so nervous to like talk to her and like had questions like listed out and things like that. And so I had 2 or 3 Zoom calls. I had 3 Zoom calls before I got to this one. And they were great. I mean, they were great people. I would have been friends probably with any of them, but there was something a little bit awkward about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because like, so for the first girl, it was just her by herself and it was her room that she was letting out. And
as
then,
in her by herself, as in her own room in...
It was, the Zoom call was just her.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then the second one was like a dude, I think that he was leaving and then he had one of the roommates with him. So I got to meet kind of more people. And then the last one was just an Australian guy and he was just like telling me about the house.
Are these like multi-room flats?
Yeah. Or houses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I got this message out of the blue. So I told you in a couple episodes ago about how I had listed myself as an ad for a room that wanted on Spare Room.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, it must be that Vibology photo because this absolute star messaged me and she was like, I have this room in Putney. I don't know where Putney is at this point. So I was like, not Clapham. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. She was like, it's available. She's house sitting for one of her friends for like a good half a year. So she's not going to be paying rent. So she wants to sublet her room.
Right.
And the room that she is subletting is vastly over my price range. So I messaged her back and I was like, hey, just so you know, like, this is my budget. I don't know if that works for you. Like, before we go any farther, I just want to make sure that we're both on the same page.
Right. Because why get yourself involved in something that is way over your budget and you're going to be like, well, I can't do that.
Exactly.
Right.
And she didn't have an ad or anything up on Spare Room. So I didn't see the room at all. She just cold messaged me just as a human.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know, because usually if there's no information about it, then I wouldn't bother messaging back, but I did. And so she was like, yep, like I moved here from Ireland and I was in the same boat as you. Like I wanted to just like kind of get on my feet, be in a space for a couple of months so I could figure out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. And I ended up loving this area and I wanted to stay. And like, whatever your budget is, that's fine. And like, I'll take care of the rest of it and like give back to get back kind of thing.
That sounds like a fucking...
An actual angel?
Well, it literally sounds like...
A scam?
It sounds like a TV script. Like, literally, it sounds like this isn't real life. No one just goes, whatever your budget is. Are you kidding me?
It literally sounds like a scam. And I was like, okay, fake person.
You're like, should I be worried?
Yeah. So then I gave her my WhatsApp and she sent me a couple videos of the place. It's an ensuite bathroom.
Gag.
And there's like a really beautiful garden and literally like...
Putney is gorgeous.
I kind of still think it's a scam because it seems too good to be true. And like when things seem
just
too good to be
choose to
true...
believe until you don't have to.
But then I like met these people. So we had a Zoom call Monday, like kind of afternoon. So I got to like...
The four of them?
With... the girl who's letting the room out. And so it's the 3 roommates and then the girl who was letting the room out.
Right.
And then me. And these human beings are
just it.
It was so... There wasn't a hint of awkwardness at all. And like we only spoke for like 15 minutes. But there was just such a vibe. And it was kind of like the universe being like, this is where you're supposed to be.
Here you go.
The sublet is until April 30th. So like... Just
also,
like
can we talk about...
said,
I was going to say.
This might be naive of me, but it just feels so right. And she just is such a good person, and they are such good people. They were like, we'll add you to our group chat. Like, if you have any questions, if you need anything before you get here, just like let us know. And I just can tell that these are the people that I'm meant to meet.
There is something to be said about feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is so there, and like we kind of touched upon it earlier in this episode when I was talking about fashion school. Like there is something to be said about just something feeling right. The universe just has a way of like giving you things when you put yourself in the right path.
Mm-hmm.
Us moving to London and starting this podcast felt that way, didn't it?
Like
when we sat down and we said something about that felt right, and I think there is something just to be said about feeling something.
I agree with you. And like I said, like I'm trying to not be naive, but like I mean, everybody knows the first like thing about a scam is that no money up front, and like that hasn't been a thing. Honestly, this girl,
I mean, you had a Zoom call. It's not like you have just been messaging. You had a full-on Zoom call.
And I mentioned having like, because she was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get you the keys because everybody's going home for Christmas. And I was like, well, I have Jacob, who obviously it's so close.
I mean,
it wouldn't be that big of an inconvenience for him to go A, check out the place, and B, get the keys.
First of all, Jacob loves you.
Right.
More than
and I'm sure he doesn't want me to be in a shitty situation. You know what I mean? But she like I mentioned him going to the place just to like check it out and get the keys, and she was totally on board with that, like not dodgy at all, and it just made me feel so comfortable. And
in you talking about it, I like to think that I have quite a unique perspective on this because I both have been someone looking for a room while also talking with my roommates about someone who has tried looking into our room.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
So I am currently living with my husband. Jacob and I were looking for a place. We had a few video calls and it was like good, but it wasn't right. And then we had a video call with the one that we're living at now. And we were like, we like this. We really wanted a mezzanine room, which is what this room was. It was big for the amount of space that we got.
And please, because it took me a really long fucking time to figure out what a mezzanine room meant.
So basically what it is it's almost like 2 rooms, quote unquote. You have like your living area, and then normally your bed is on another floor, but it's still in the room. So there's stairs leading up to another platform that has your bed on it normally.
Got it.
Some people put their beds on the bottom, and the mezzanine is like an office space.
Oh, okay.
But for the most part, the beds are on the upper level. So you walk into your room, and there's 2 kind of like levels to it. But we really wanted a mezzanine room. The area that it was in was gorgeous. The price that it was kind of right. We said that we really didn't want to pay too much, but it was kind of right. And we went when it was in COVID, and we did a socially distanced viewing, and we just clicked with 2 of our roommates who are there. We love our flatmates. Our flatmates are like so great. We all just got along so well. It felt so right. And we moved in, and everything was exactly what we expected. And I think that's also something that's interesting to bring up is like, obviously you present yourself in a certain way, but then living with someone is completely different. I mean, you know that from working on ships.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you, as well as I, have seen many situations where 2 people are in rehearsals and they go, oh my God, we're going to get along so great. We're going to be the best roommates ever. And then 2 weeks into being on ships, they both want different roommates, you know?
Yeah.
But then we've also had people move out, and we've also had to look for roommates. And I think you also kind of have to feel that vibe with someone who's coming in, you know?
So when you were looking for a roommate, what types of things did you guys as a household talk about looking for?
So once we discovered that the 5 of us got on so well, we were scared that someone coming in,
it was even more important,
would not ruin the vibe, but we just wanted to make sure that they got along with us and that they kind of kept up the good feeling that we had in our flat.
Did you guys look on Spare Room or?
So we posted on Facebook group pages.
Which Facebook group pages?
There's a few. There's like London warehouses.
You added me to all of them.
I did when we were first talking about moving to London.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you were first talking about moving to London.
How many people did you go through before you found the one?
We went through probably 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. In what kind of span of time?
But that's definitely like, we went through those people both, I don't think vibing with us, who didn't get back to us as well.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't just us being like, not right, let's not message them, or like, let's just say this isn't right. Like, they also, I think, didn't message us back either.
For me, I mean, I know we talked about this before in previous episodes, but I'm just so happy that I was able to find a place to sublet for a couple months, because I just had such reservations about signing my name on a lease that I sight unseen in all aspects, basically.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, like not even the people, not even the room, but the area. Not that I wouldn't want to sign a lease, but it's just a lot of, especially because I don't have a job, and like a lot of people need references, pay stubs. I don't fucking have, I'm unemployed, like really. So, yeah, I think finding a place to sublet or like being able to stay with friends. And I've been so lucky because I have so many people that are sending me like ads that they see that they think that I would be interested in certain areas, and telling me about certain neighborhoods, and I feel very supported and loved in that way. So I guess kind of in summation, the things that I was looking for when I was looking for a place to live, and the kind of questions that I was asking, how many roommates, or like what kind of place is it? Is it a warehouse? Is it a flat? Is it like a detached house? Like what kind of situation are we in here?
Literally, where am I living?
Yeah. And then the other type of where, which is what kind of neighborhood is it? Is it near to like a high street with good nightlife, or is it more in like a residential kind of area? Like what's the kind of vibe of the neighborhood that I'm in? How many roommates am I going to be having? Are they male or female? What's the age? Are they, young 20s? That's probably not going to vibe with me as much where I am right now. Are they like...
that's a lot of things that like people put on ads on Facebook groups, as they say, like nobody under 25.
Right, yeah. And like when you're looking on Spare Room, it's all of that information is available. It's what I look at first before I decide if I'm going to be messaging someone.
Right.
Also like what the deposit is going to be, and pictures obviously of the room, if it looks like it has enough space, what the closet looks like, if it's even going to be furnished, because I don't have the time nor the money to be furnishing a place myself.
Furniture.
Yeah. So that's something I look for. And if they're like what the vibe of the house is in general, are they vegan? Because I'm like a plant-based sometimes when she feels like it, like a cute half vegan, sometimes non-dairy, soy is the devil kind of person.
Come on, soy is the devil.
But I don't I would.
You don't want to be in a strictly vegan household, which there's nothing wrong with that, but like that doesn't match your vibe, does it?
Exactly. So that's something important to ask as well. And do they go to bed early? Do they have lots of parties and people over? Mm-hmm. Not that either one is better than the other, but if it's not your vibe, it's important to kind of keep in mind what that specific house is.
I think something that I look for in roommates, I think personally, is how LGBTQ friendly they are. As in, do they include people of LGBTQ, or does it include people of color? Does it include like anybody who is, I think, out of the social norm? Because I know for me, like, I'm sure as hell not abiding by any social norms.
Right.
So I kind of want to get that vibe as well,
mm-hmm.
you know?
And political affiliation
as
well.
I think it's really important to be able to have important conversations with people, and for people to be able to be open to those, like, and feeling like we can then wake up the next morning and have breakfast together and there'd be no issue,
mm-hmm,
you know?
Mm-hmm. You keep going really deep, and I'm gonna bring it back up to the surface with puppies and kittens. Like, what if they have a cat and you're allergic to cats? It's something to be mindful of.
Me. We were living in a warehouse that had a cat, and I was allergic to cats, and every day I was like, I cannot wait to leave. It was horrific.
Yikes.
I woke up with like swollen eyes. I was like...
And I think we'll probably link all the Facebook groups that you have added me to and know about in the show notes. And I'll probably link Spare Room as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Charlotte added me to this group, or told me about this group. It's like Hustle or something. And it's
sounds like a strip club.
It's geared more towards artists, I think. It's kind of like gypsy housing. If you're in New York, that's like a big group to be a part of. And I think it's kind of the London version of that, but I'm not entirely sure. But we'll link that one too, because she added me to it.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning into this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you rate it. And please make sure you are subscribed so that you don't miss any new episodes. We drop our new episode every Tuesday.
That's right. And make sure you follow us on all of our social media. Joey, what's our Twitter?
Our Twitter is New to the City. Please make sure you are spelling city, CiTea.
Mm-hmm. Our Instagram, Facebook page, and our YouTube are all New to the City podcast. That's CiTea. Also, if you have any ideas for future episodes, if you want to just, send us a message or questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at newtothecitypodcast@gmail.com. That is CiTea. And thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.